start talking about stuff that's like
plugging and unplugging. Disgusting.
a good
Get your mind out of the gutter.
whatever I feel like a good place to start is. Then I'll,
Is that
I'll
going to
cut it
be?
that.
Do you think that's going to be what like futuristic porn is? It's like instead of like having sex with a doll, you're having sex with a robot, and so instead of like, oh, you gotta clean your doll out, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta unplug your robot. Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in again? like that's the porn joke, or is it just?
You know that Aurora is actually taking a sexuality course right now at her college. I'm not gonna doss her. I'm not gonna doss her. But she was talking about how her professor will refer to robots that have like penis-like attachments as like male sex robots for women exclusively, is how her professor words it. And she's like, that's really like that's really, a big like you're talking about the morality of having sex with robots and you're using that kind of language.
I thought you were just gonna be like, Aurora's in a in like a robotics class. And it is
Jesus Christ!
And in the past semester,
oh my God!
And in the past semester, it has taken a strangely sexual turn.
Yeah, that's why classes are canceled. Actually,
it wasn't coronavirus. It was the robot.
No, you said you wanted to do an episode without mentioning the big Rona.
No, okay, like that's the problem. Is that like you have to if you're gonna mention like the fact that schools are shutting down.
Actually, I would say that's probably how the coronavirus started, right?
No. Let's return to your standard escapist media, because if you wanted to hear us talk about the coronavirus, you could A, go to our last podcast, or B, look anywhere else on the internet. The topic today is something that will get your mind off of the pandemic.
Yeah, let's put your mind in the gutter.
Yeah, let's take your mind. Let's take your mind. Let's put it at ease, and then dunk it right in that gutter. So
welcome to the 6th episode of the podcast. I'm Aeon, the Pinto Bean, and also Thanos' administrative assistant.
I guess. Well, with a title like that, I mean, I guess I am Jess. I am your resident Lima Bean, and I'm constantly angry.
I'm Nate. Jelly bean is my classification. That being said, I am the espresso bean dealer of my college.
That's right. We have a special guest, the espresso plug.
Hit me up.
Yeah, and we're talking about just to let you know that Thanos has a list. So if I mention that you're on it, just know that like you're fucked. Honestly, there's no way out of it.
Are you calling it the Thanos list? Because I was just calling it the guillotine.
No, Thanos is indiscriminate except for the people that he has on the list.
Oh, okay.
The guillotine is specifically people who go on the guillotine.
Got it. All right. Well, I can follow Thanos's list, and like if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find Thanos's list, or you can just line up for the
I'll
guillotine.
publish it. Yeah, at me with pictures of Pokemon feet, and you will be added to the list.
Yes, you will be added to the list indiscriminately.
yeah, just indiscriminately end up on the list,
quote unquote. We'll do a what is it called? A random sampling with just your name in it. A simple random sample with just your name in it, and look at that, you're on the list.
No, we do stratified sampling. We want to make sure that we get... Sorry, I'm going to stop talking about... I didn't get a degree in statistics. I just took a lot of the classes. Okay, so, to the main course, the piece de resistance.
What's y'all here for?
We have Pokemon feet. I don't know why. I mentioned this as a joke in like the 2nd episode of the podcast, and people have been fucking demanding this in mass. All like 20 of you that listen regularly.
Yeah, I mean it's a very hot topic. I think about it constantly. I wake up every morning and I'm like, yo, Pokemon feet.
Okay, so
recently since my university, kicked me out, my friends and I have been branding this as a sabbatical, and so this is what I've been spending all of my countless hours of research on.
This is research. This is years of research down the drain.
I got paid for this.
At least one of us is getting paid
Are there
for
any
this.
rules or guidelines we want to mention before I show the big list?
I think one big one, at least that we talked about before, that we should probably address is that while footprints were always usually recorded in the Pokedex, like what the footprint of the Pokemon was.
This pissing me off.
They, I think it was after Gen 5.
Yeah.
Once the games moved into 3D format, they stopped including the footprint in the Pokedex entry.
To hate X and Y.
Yeah, another reason to hate X and Y. And also we want to include we've done our best to include the Pokemon feet. I think, is there anything new gen on here that don't have?
Yeah, there are a couple Pokemon on this list that people have suggested that don't have footprints.
Yeah, so if you see one that doesn't have a footprint listed,
just imagine what it looks like.
Just imagine it. Use your brain.
Think really hard.
You don't really need to think that hard because we're already sexualizing these Pokemon's feet. So Pokemon's feet, if you will.
I think that switching to 3D was just an all around L. It wasn't a smooth transition. I mean, first off,
just look at their feet.
They really did all the foot fetishists dirty. I mean, just look at Marshtomp, dude. They fucking neutered that Pokemon. They took his swampy balls and cut him right off when they brought him to 3D.
I think, unfortunately, one of the biggest instances of, 2D not translating is Marshtomp.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have a side-by-side here for sure to just look at how fucking stupid this idiot looks. Oh, God. Just look at him.
It broke my heart. It was a good Pokemon. Pokemon.
I don't know, though. I feel like you now have the foot in 3D, right? That's a whole nother element of depth that we weren't getting before that I feel like is probably really doing it for people.
I mean, you're right.
You could actually get an impression.
I would say
I
would say it probably created a black and white binary on some that feet still hot, even better in 3D, or absolutely doesn't do it for me anymore. And in some cases, it exposed us to new angles of feet that were previously unknown that we will discuss.
Got the depth.
Depth.
Did you use that phrase black and white because that was the last game that had footprints?
Oh, 100%.
I feel like that was intentional.
I am absolutely intentional. I used...
excuse me, black and white too. Thank you.
You're right. Black and white
Electric Boogaloo.
Great sprites in that game. I would say the sexiest sprites.
We're gonna go to an overview of the Pokemon feet list that we have here. I also have all the names of the dirty fuckers who recommended this. I have here are all the names of the horny idiots that responded to my tweet and wanted me to look at these Pokemon and specifically their feet.
This is a call out.
This is definitely a call out.
Trico got them toed.
Trico's feet are sexy. I said that on a recording. You now have a recording of me saying that. If it shows up anywhere, I'm nuking the VOD.
I really hope there's a YouTube poop that's eventually made of these podcast episodes, and we can get we can do deep fakes with Jess's voice.
You cannot, first of all, no, and you cannot say the word if you say the word YouTube poop, it invokes it. You cannot bring forth.
No, they can.
You have to say it 5 times. We are at 2, no more.
It's the Bloody Mary of shitposts.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so these are not in any specific order at all. So don't think that we already ranked them. We're not going to either. We're just going to talk about them.
Yeah, that's it. This is just
The suggestion was originally top 10. As you can see here, we have a little bit more than 10. I think it's 18, 20, 22? Yeah, something like that. So enjoy. We're going to move on to the first Pokemon. I think, Nate, you talked about this one. This is one that you wanted to include.
Yeah. So I've really been digging a lot of the Pokemon that have feet that are just kind of...
tree trunks.
Yeah, basically. But then they have fun shapes on the bottom.
So does this mean that Dusclops is 2 years old because he has 2 rings?
See...
But not grass type, though.
Oh, yeah, fair. I guess he's a dead tree.
That's
tree
ghost.
Damn.
No.
There's already a Pokemon for that.
And when it first came up on screen, that immediately drew my eye, if you will, is that Dusclops' footprint looks like his eye. It just looks. It's the same. It's his face.
It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your mind blown? Do you feel? I can just feel it. I can hear it exploding. Actually, it's definitely not the reverb audio coming from around the rest of the house.
Oh.
Oh, okay. The fart.
The fart.
We don't know whose, but the fart.
So yeah, in case you guys didn't know, this was Nathan's pick, like I said, but that's also because he's a registered Pokemon podiatrist. He has seen all of the feet. Imagine bird watching, but for Pokemon feet, he's done it. He's got all of them. He has all the sprites.
The expert.
Hard at work.
Yeah.
Hard
at work is definitely not a pun, I promise. He does not have
Before we leave the slide, I do have to ask, Nate, do you consider that to be Dusclops' mouth or like a mustache overlapping the mouth?
Ooh.
Just as an aside.
Ooh.
Or like an extra hand with 3 fingers.
I've always thought of it more like a mustache, truthfully.
Okay. I agree. I've also always thought of it as a mustache.
I don't know.
I think it's the thing that
me...
keeps him from looking like Exeggutor.
Yeah.
Well, because, I mean, without it, he would just look like a potato with hands and an eye.
Very much
He
so.
looked like Grimace.
Oh my god, he would.
The big purple McDonald's fuck.
He really would look like Grimace.
He would
That's
just
what it
look
was.
Grimace.
No, they just photoshopped Grimace to look kind of scary, and they were like, oh yeah, this is it. And some guy was like, oh, that's a perfect, like, looking over their shoulder, like, messing with Photoshop. Like, is that the new Pokemon? Yeah.
I guess it is now.
I guess it is now.
Yeah, it's basically just Grimace's Halloween costume from '98.
You know what? I dig it. I dig it, and that footprint.
Let's move on to the next.
What do we? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what do we rate it?
Oh yeah, okay. Let's
yeah.
let's rate it. I'll
What are we
cut
rating
that part
it?
out. What are we
Out of
rating it?
what?
Out of 10.
Out of 10? Okay, I just want to make sure it's not like 1 toe out of 5. I don't know.
No, I mean, ideally you would have 10 toes, right? So it's still 1 out of 10.
Okay, I suppose so.
Do you know how many Pokemon feet are in this brain?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Do you
what
know
I'm saying.
how many more things that are useful that I could have put in this brain besides...
Besides your 3 years and
We
podiatry school.
I'm not kidding, Nate. We had pulled up a picture that was just like this is where we got all these images of the feet from. Actually, we pulled up like this big chart that was like just the feet, right? It was just the feet of Pokemon from gens like 1 through 3. And Nate sat there and looked at it and was like, oh, I know this foot and I know this foot. So based on, and it goes in order. So this one must be this Pokemon. I was like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
This is,
I mean,
You're
there's a surprising
destroying me.
surprising amount of Pokemon in the first 5 generations that just don't have feet, like don't have footprints.
no, okay.
Like Voltorb, Electrode, from
You're
Gen 1,
correct.
that makes sense.
You're correct, but it was very wild to see me just zoom in to like 250% on this random like image and Nate just be like, well, that's Blazikens and that's Slackings and like that one's that one. So I just like,
We
done.
talked about it earlier. I'm like, is that Slacking? You're like, yes, because I know for a fact that one's Slack off. I was like, no.
And you were like, okay, so we're looking at the bird Pokemon, and like obviously this starts from Gen 1, but like it looks like Gen 3 starts around here and Gen 2 starts around here, and I was like, what is happening? Like,
Going through the catalogs, the annals of Pokemon,
Yeah,
if you will, whereas
it was the equivalent of looking at like one big QR code and being like, ah, yes, that died.
zooming in on the QR code.
like that was it.
fucking QR code?
It was talent that I have not seen in years to come, for years, and
Surely
will not see.
a master, you should get a fellowship in whatever the fucking like
Sommelier, but Pokemon feet.
No, because you know, like you become like a neurosurgeon, right? And then you get like you do a fellowship so that you specialize in like doing lower back like surgeries, right? Like that's what you or like up like cervical spine stuff. But like any neurosurgeon can do it. It's just the ones that have the fellowships are like the really good ones. You should do something like. Do you think you could like cure Pokemon gout? Do Pokemon get gout? You'd be able to answer this.
I was straight up thinking about this yesterday. When you were like, when you hit me up and said we're talking about Pokemon feed, the first thing that popped in my mind is, do they get gout?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
I'm sure that if they eat poffins, they have like salt deficiencies, or they, you know, sometimes they drink they hit the bottle a little too much, so they get gout.
Can Pokemon get drunk?
Yeah, I would imagine
wasn't
so.
there-
Only the Pokemon that have livers. The other ones die. That's how livers work.
Wait, but then what about the ghost Pokemon? Did the ghost Pokemon that don't have livers die again?
I don't think
Do
they can
ghost
hold
Pokemon
alcohol
die?
bottles.
No, big question. Do ghost Pokemon die?
They faint.
That's not. I faint. That's not the point. Do ghost Pokemon die?
No, this is a good question.
Or does everything just end up being like? Does Dusclops look like Exeggutor because all Dusclops are just dead Exeggutors?
It's dead
Guys,
Grimace.
guys.
Grimace is a Pokemon.
It's real. It's real. It's real MatPat hours. We are
No,
hopping
no.
right into those game theories.
No.
We gotta rate Dusclops.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
we
right.
got it.
Okay. So 1 out of 10 Dusclop feet. Do we all just want to say it at once, or are we just like? Because I'm
Brief one at a time.
okay.
Do you want to go first then?
Yeah, I think because I probably have the harshest opinion about it. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I'd give it like a 4 out of 10.
I give it a 6.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jess. I was thinking 4, mostly because with Dusclops, hand stuff is definitely Definitely the winner.
Oh my god.
No, you're right. There's no hips. There's no feet. There's no toes. It's all the hands. And
I just
it's not
like
all
the
hands.
aesthetic that it is a tree trunk, but you're totally right. He does not use his feet to grab chicken nuggets.
You're right. And that sells it. So
Yeah,
we're looking at
that's almost disqualifying compared to how good his hands
we're
are.
looking at
Yeah,
an average
straight up.
of a 5 out of 10, but closer to a 4.
Not even, yeah, just closer to a 4. Okay. We have Hitmonlee. I think this one's pretty good, mostly because it matches exactly how you think it would look. Like it's pretty just up there.
I'm gonna real quick just address the fact that the image that you chose for Hitmonlee gives him a little bit of a bulge, and I'm not a fan.
A little bit.
Not a fan.
Dude, Hitmonlee looks like a chicken nugget. Why did we put these two next to each other? Oh my god.
Yeah, he is the chicken nugget that is grabbed not by Dusclops' feet.
Yeah, he simply got so good at kicking because that has a longer range than his arms. He's like ready to fight off Dusclops.
I
Or run.
genuinely think this Pokemon looks really dumb. Always have.
I've actually this like I've really hated a lot of I understand that they're like good in terms of actually like battling.
No,
No.
Hitmonlee's trash.
No,
Are you
but
kidding me?
Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan and like Hitmontop and all them like that like string. of
Hitmonchan
evolutions.
has one niche.
I
Hitmonchan just literally has like coverage.
I've
That's
just
it.
always felt that they were like one of the weakest link in like the fighting category.
Yeah.
I hated their designs, all that kind of stuff.
Chan's
That
kinda
aside, because we're not talking about
Right.
the
I was
fact
like,
that
We're
the
talking
fact
about
that
the beat.
the body looks like an upside down egg. We're talking about we're talking about the feet. So those feet, what are we thinking? Your thoughts?
So I think the foot itself is average, right?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot going on. But for me, I think it's the added context of what Hitmonlee is capable of with the legs and therefore the feet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The feet is a point of emphasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't talk about Pokemon feet and not talk about the Pokemon that uses its feet. Like, that would just
You're
be...
right.
I
You're
kind
right.
of like this one a lot because, he clearly has all of the main components of like, the thing that would embody a foot. He's got a knee that bends the right way.
Mm-hmm.
He's got ankles.
Some
and
nice
he's
toe
got...
action.
Yeah, he's
Like
got...
an arch.
He's got
There's
some,
like a part of an arch there.
Yeah.
Or like a flat foot.
There's a lot going on. He's very... I will admit he's a very humanoid chicken nugget, but...
Do you think that he can touch his toes?
It
Oh,
looks like
certainly.
he definitely can. Just
Okay.
looking at this picture.
Doesn't even have to like move the arms at all. He's already there.
Do you think that's like an earned flexibility thing? Like, does he have to practice, or like I do because I can't touch my toes?
He lives his practice.
Can we do
Okay.
a toe touching thing real quick? Let's just do that.
Wait, what are we? Oh, like
Yeah, no, we're
Okay.
gonna do it right
Oh, God.
here.
Okay.
This is
all right. How far we get?
it's time. By the way, if
We're all gonna hit our heads
If you're
against
listening to
each
this
other.
in one continuous thing and you haven't drank water yet, then like you should definitely drink
Yeah,
water.
drink some water.
Drink
Hydrate.
some water while
Yeah.
we do this. We'll have Jess. You can go first.
Okay,
Because
cool.
you brought up
Yeah.
toe touching.
All right,
so
cool.
Let me
I'm gonna see.
Let's see if we can touch.
I'm
we
gonna
can touch
see.
your toes.
I'm gonna see if I can touch my toes, and you guys are welcome to laugh at me as I cannot touch my toes because
go
I
for
know
it.
this.
I'm gonna get... Okay, yeah, no, she definitely can't. But that was close.
That's probably the closest I've been in about
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
I mentioned it, so I'm gonna try and
All right, Aeon's up.
see if I can get it.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. That was a solid toe
That's
touch.
spot on.
Yeah,
That was a solid toe touch.
My knees locked.
All right, let's give this a try.
Oh,
There you go. You got
Oh,
it.
we
You
got it.
Nate got it. Okay, so it is only me. Out of Hitmonlee, Nate, and Aeon, it is only me that cannot touch my toes, and I'm ashamed for it. So I will take a moment of silence to feel the shame.
Can I get an F in the chat for Jess's inability to touch your toes?
It's just my dignity.
You guys should stretch until you're able to put your wrists on the ground.
Oh, absolutely. So anyway, I'm gonna say that although Hitmonlee beats me in toe touching ability, I'm just not feeling too strongly about it's a feat by the barest definition, or it's a foot by the barest definition. I'm really not feeling it. I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 10.
I don't think Hitmonlee cares what you think because you just mentioned it. Hitmonlee would literally kick you in the ass. Like, you could not beat a Hitmonlee. Like, Dusclops may, like, steal your chicken nuggets and, like, do hand stuff
Still
with you.
Hitmonlee.
Yeah. Dusclops might, like, do hand stuff with you. I don't know. But, like, Hitmonlee would just kick you in the ass.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll give Hitmonlee like a 5 on this one. I think it's got all the structure, but it's nothing that really stands out to me. And the bone-like protrusions that appear to be toes kind of frighten me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with a 5 as well.
I don't get. Okay, so like you'd think that he'd be putting a lot of the pressure on like his heel, right? Because like you know how you stand, you would have, but most of your pressure goes in your heel, and you have like evenly dispersed across your toes, like ideally, right? What is this hole that's there, and where is all of the pressure going?
I know 100% what it is. And do you remember the computer mouses that had the ball in them that you had to take the ball out? That's what that is.
He has
So
it is a trackball mouse.
It's built-in Heelys. It's built-in Heelys. That's all it is. It's a trackball foot.
I'm moving up to a 6.
He's got my vote and my girl. We have Magnemite. Okay, Nate brought this one up. I think this is fucking amazing.
This is the funniest shit.
This is a 10 out of 10.
So
I'm
Nate,
sorry.
you can explain this one.
So, as you can see, Magnemite doesn't exactly have a foot, right?
Let alone 2.
And yet the Pokedex classifies those tiny little screws as his feet.
So the imprint is a Phillips head screwdriver.
Question. Is it both of those 2 little screwdrivers that are sticking out towards us, or have we just always been looking at Magnemite
upside down?
And it's the big screw on top.
Oh, that's a plot twist.
That is pretty good.
A plot screw, if you will.
Okay, 10 out of 10. That's what I'm giving Magnemite.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
Definitely
This
10.
is
10
this
out of
is
10.
the
The world
sexiest
is
foot.
helping
I
you
love
out.
it.
So now we have Mewtwo. I brought up the evolutions, right? Because they don't have footprints, but I feel like they're important for a couple of reasons that I'll get into right before we get to the next Pokemon. So let's start with just base Mewtwo. That's a pretty schmeedy foot.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's really a foot. The thing that gets me is the backward knees. And although that's like, we've already talked about the classifications of like backwards knees doesn't necessarily disqualify you, especially when like your feet look as much like feet as those. But I don't know. I love Mewtwo. Thick thighs, but cinched waist, but
Looking snatched.
Mewtwo's packing that like 30, 24, 38.
I want these feet to do something for me. I really do. I really do, but they
Just
don't.
phrasing, please.
No, I knew exactly what I was saying.
Oh my god.
These feet are, by definition, and obviously like man-made, because Mewtwo is man-made. It was made to be perfect, but it's just a little bit too off.
Okay,
Nathan, what are your thoughts?
So, Mewtwo's feet always really stuck out to me when I was a kid and I was watching the one movie. It was just kind of the toes. I don't know, always really caught my attention, and it's like that's a pretty sizable gap in there.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, that's where my mind is going at this moment.
Oh goodness. Okay, well, I think Mewtwo's definitely. I mean, he haunts the dark recesses of my minds from red, blue, and yellow competitive.
Was Mewtwo your first shiny?
Yeah, Mewtwo was my first shiny.
Oh,
I actually hard reset in Fire Red and Leaf Green. Actually, no. Mewtwo was the first shiny that I ever hunted for. The first shiny I ever got was actually an Igglybuff in Crystal. I got it from the Egg Hatcher because apparently there's an increased chance that that's shiny. It's not a lot, right? It's not much better. Mm-hmm. But I remember hatching it and going like, okay, what's this little star animation? Because it's fucking crystal, so it's like it's really hard to tell the colors on it.
Here you are, haunted by Puff to this day.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Mewtwo was the first one where I was in Fire Red and Leaf Green and my friends on the playground. When shinies were like you can't, you're not 100% sure they're in the game because you've never seen one before. Back in those days when it was an unknown thing.
Fucking asshole Jared is convincing you that Sonic the Hedgehog is in Melee.
Oh my god, yeah, you just have to do Cruel Melee for 5 minutes. Get 100 kills in Cruel Melee. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But
in those days.
Yeah, so one of the things was that Mewtwo, and I was told the Mewtwo was green. I was like, oh shit, I must have reset. I remember counting. I used tally marks on a notepad when I was a kid on my Game Boy Advance, and I went so fucking hard trying to get a shiny Mewtwo. And I eventually transferred him up to Platinum, and then I stopped playing Pokemon for a while. And then my copy of Platinum got stolen by my cousins that had my shiny Mewtwo on it. So sad times.
Mewtwo means a lot to you.
Yeah.
And Mewtwo, and I know that. So these feet. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on the foot.
The foot.
I feel like it is the perfect foot in that, for like his body stature, he's got like the ball of his foot, his heel, right, is also like, it's got a toe for support on the side. I wish I had an extra toe for support, like a kickstand, if you will. But yeah, no, I would say I'd give Mewtwo's foot like an 8 out of 10. I also like that his foot looks like a Y chromosome. I think that's pretty cool for being the genetic Pokemon. One of the things I do want to mention with the 2 Mega Evolutions we have on the side that don't have footprints is those aren't necessarily going to be counted because, as Jess was talking about, like with the backwards knees, that's just really messed up. Like,
truthfully, just looking at the feet, I think both Mega Evolutions are a huge downgrade.
Yeah, oh yes, no, absolutely.
Especially
and I would definitely say they both just remind me of like someone looked at Mewtwo and was like, we could get like a little bit more Dragon Ball Z with this, and that's what happened.
And they made a Saiyan and Frieza.
No, they made Frieza and Cell.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely
I see
you're right.
So that's what happened, and I can't tell which one I hate more. I think I hate the Cell one more than I hate the Frieza one, meaning the one that doesn't have the long head tail.
I think everyone prefers X anyways.
I actually really prefer Y.
Really?
Truthfully, yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. Actually, I found out that in Pokken when you can Mega Evolve as your burst, right? Because you've been able to do that since like the game first came out. But with Mewtwo, you always go into X. You can't do Mega Mewtwo.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least from what I've seen. At least nobody chooses it.
Yeah.
That's an option, which I don't think it is.
They pick the fan favorites. I mean, in the same
way. Well, I mean,
way
it's also a fighting game, and Mewtwo X is fighting and psychic.
Well, I mean,
yeah, that's
you're right. But also, like for instance, the Charizard that's the black. I think that's X, which is the black and blue, black one with blue fire.
Yep.
That one is always chosen specifically because everyone just kind of realizes that it was the better one.
Well, it looks like it's shiny, right?
Looks like it's shiny.
Y doesn't look that much different from regular Charizard. Y is also worse. Right,
Yeah.
just as a competitive Pokemon.
Not even close.
Yeah, I play the ladder all the time, and I see Mega Charizard X's come in all the time at least for 1v1 laddering.
What?
Yeah, 1v1 ladder, Mega Charizard X.
Since when?
All the time. As long as I've been playing ladder. 1v1 always has...
Is this a new thing?
For the past 2 generations it has been. He's been in he's been like near the top for 1v1s.
Why is always... No, because Y gets like drought, you can turn one Solar Beam.
Yeah.
Destroy a water type that comes your way.
X gets like Substitute and Fire and Flare Blitz, so it's like...
I've never run into a Charizard X before.
I have.
Really? I've
run into
exclusively,
plenty of them.
and granted I don't play competitive, but I only see Charizard X.
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember.
I'll have to look up usage for that, because now I'm curious, because I just think we just have 2 very different experiences.
Yeah, you're right, but granted I played...
Or maybe I'm just too low on the ladder.
I've gotten demolished by way too many Charizard Ys.
Yeah, I also have gotten...
Y,
but
I would say that...
I always found X as being more versatile.
X and Y were the one time that I did not let the box art Pokemon dictate the thing that I was buying. No, that and Shield, but that was because you had more of an input on Shield, because we were sharing it. But that...
but Shield also has the better exclusives. Like
X and Y, you're right. X and Y and Sword and Shield were the 2 games ever that I have not let box art Pokemon dictate what I was doing. I stand more so with like X and Y in the sense that I literally looked at it and was just like, okay, what are they doing differently? What do I want to do? And I just ended up getting X. Like I just ended up leaning more towards X in most scenarios, and I got that one. So like, who knows? I know this is all getting cut out anyway, but like, wild. I don't know. That X and Y was such a like turbulent generation, and I understand why they took the footprints away, because it was way too much for anyone to handle at that point in our lives. We were already like, oh my god, 3D and 3D feet, and they just couldn't give it all to us. And I understand, but by God, please, Pokemon, bring it back.
I like
Game Freak.
I like the Demon Bird, so I bought Y.
Yeah. Xerneas is cool. A wild one. I hate playing against Xerneas.
Oh my god, yeah.
So I will say that. Okay, anyways. And we have Lucario. You may have seen this one. I put a question mark on the beginning screen for Lucario. I was like, Lucario? That's because, same with the backward knees thing, and it also doesn't even look, I mean, looking at this picture, right, like, Lucario's right foot, so the one that you're looking at that's on, like, our left, that looks like a foot, right? Like, it looks like it has some curves, and I'm just not sure if it's just kind of like an angled, like thing with a lot of bones, if there's actually like joints there. It just looks very awkward.
It's a furry
and
joint.
I think that's it's clearly a furry, right? But like the whole backward knees thing is what's like really throwing me off. Is like, is this a foot?
It's a furry joint, meaning that like it is something that is no, I'm not kidding. It is something that is added to make the animalistic creature in question like have a little bit less weirdness. Because imagine that foot going straight down, it would look weird, right?
Yeah.
It would look strange if that foot went straight down and didn't have like an extra curvature to it. That's what that is. That's 100%. You could my big thing with Lucario and why I absolutely trash Lucario's feet is that you could wear Lucario's shorts for the better.
I was about to mention
shorts,
that. Yeah, it looks like shorts.
Where Lucario's shorts end, you could take those feet, quadruple them, and stick them onto like a wolf body, like a four-legged wolf body, and they would work. That's my issue with them.
Yeah,
that's why I think that it's not feet.
Clearly paws.
Yeah, they're very clearly paws. That's why I think that they are 100. It is not a foot. It is not classified as a foot, and I'm not a furry, so it's not sexy. That's how we go. Like that's my.
Okay, so what are we?
I'm thinking like 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. I'll give it a 2 because at least he's got like 3 toes.
Yeah. Okay, I get that.
I'll give him a 3 because he has 3 toes.
Okay.
I'm a 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for all the Lucario fans out there, stop watching. So this one was suggested by Aneu.
Nate, you had the input on this one before.
Yeah.
Yes.
We brought it up.
So I'm gonna pull out the tapes here, but when I was a kid, I played a lot of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, right? And immediately when we were talking about Pokemon feet, Diglett came to mind because, to quote Diglett from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue, "My feet feel like they're still walking on air."
Yeah, it's pretty sus.
That's a self-confession that Diglett, and I can only imagine then Dugtrio, has feet, right?
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't. It's while there are Pokemon that lose feet and gain feet during like evolutions, I would feel that because Diglett and Dugtrio really retain their form and the feet themselves are like out of sight, that this wouldn't be the case with this Pokemon. Like I just don't see them changing that much, right? So
Can we get a quick? I just thought about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about how sus, this is. That Diglett obviously admitted, like, broke the golden rule of being a Diglett, which is admit that you have feet.
Yeah.
Right. I actually want to put a minute on the clock. I'll give you guys paper.
Oh,
We're gonna do one of these, even though I knew that I wanted to put this on Spotify, so I know that like we're not gonna, getting images of this is not gonna be easy. But I wanted to put a minute on the clock, and we're just gonna draw. You have to draw Dugtrio first, and then you have to draw what we think the rest of his body looks like.
okay.
I'll kick it off.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So this is what I had prepared.
Okay. I love the highlighter. First off, I just want to point that out.
Thank you.
Excellent use of tools.
Oh, I mean, it's sitting right in front of me, so I had to. But yeah, so this is my theory. When I think of Dugtrio, the first thing that comes in my mind is Dotrio, mostly because I mix up their names a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a bird with 3 heads sharing 2 feet and 1 body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, why couldn't Dugtrio share just 1 foot?
It's very reminiscent of the giant boot that Mario hops into in those games. And
From 3.
From 3, and I have to say that the fact that you included the detail of the dirt kind of makes it look also like a stocking. So I'm gonna say that this is the Christmas themed.
So what's the Pokemon lore behind this, right? Like, how is a Dugtrio born? Do you think that there's just like a race of giants and they just have their feet cut off, and each one of those feet,
It's just the giants, they're
each
regrowing.
foot, starts to grow another giant, but instead it's just a Dugtrio.
It's like the
Or
Hydra.
just a Diglett.
It's the Hydra, but every time you cut a head off, it just
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, like, if we're really going with a chandelier being able to, like, eat a person's soul, I think that it's very likely that these are the...
They're basically just the Pokemon version of maggots.
Like these are the world smiths, right?
Yeah.
This feat came from the god which created our very world.
This is the Langolier.
Yeah.
How do you think they move underground? Do they like wiggle their
walk.
toes?
They,
wiggle their toes.
they
and
walk just, they have feet.
Yeah, they just walk.
underground. They just walk.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
It's pretty good.
Hang on, please.
Are like the toes meant to like dig?
No, I
Or
mean,
there's just nothing underground.
well, to a certain extent. I mean, like just the same way that you play with your toes when you're in the sand.
They just
Yeah.
they just wiggle
Yeah.
away in the world. Okay. This is my drawing. As you can see, I spent a lot more time on the Dugtrios than anything else. And I thought this was a really good one, right? I did a Alolan Dugtrio, except for one of them. he's been
No
adopted.
pattern
And I think that honestly looks like a really fucking good Diglett.
It's a very good.
It
Diglett.
is.
Thank you.
It's high quality.
I drew Mama Diglett and the little beautiful handsome boy.
Are they not a
Right
hive
there.
mind, or are they just like? Are they like the?
Well, they share a body, so I think they have to be.
Is it like those codename kids from next door, like Villain, like the delightful children from down the lane, where they're all just like they're individuals, but they have a hive mind?
They're just basically glued together. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, I would say they're basically glued together, considering that they share a neck. If you remember the knights who say "ni" from
Oh,
or the
yes.
knights who formerly said "ni,"
Yes,
right?
of course.
The knights who now say oh god, what was it? Whoop dang! Yeah, that one.
I'm not participating in that.
You know how they like they not those knights. The oh man, I'm trying to think of it.
No, the ones where it's like two heads and the big
It's
body.
3 heads, and like
Or
one of
3
them
heads.
is King Arthur. Like,
Yeah.
well, because they didn't have enough actors. King Arthur is one of the
Yeah.
is one of the
King
is one
Arthur
of the
plays
heads.
like 8 people in that.
I know it's
They don't
it's
have enough
fantastic.
actors. They just
It's so good. So I just thought about like that, right, and how they all share a body. Notice that this Dugtrio has very short arms because why would they need it?
Mhm.
And but they do have an 8-pack because that's essential for living underground.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, you can see Dugtrio packing that schmeat.
I mean, we all
Yeah,
knew.
we're talking like a big hog. He also borrowed Sora's Nikes.
So this brings me into a question: Is Dugtrio a fan of Colin Kaepernick? I for one am. But I want to know if my favorite Pokemon feel the same.
You know, I don't think that we are legally allowed to say. I can't speak for the Pokemon. I think we just have to go back and replay Pokemon
and
Mystery
see,
Dungeon
see
and
if
ask the
see
Pokemon.
if Dugtrio says anything about Colin Kaepernick.
Check the tapes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta check the tapes. As you can see, he only wears shoes because it's all he needs. He runs faster underground. That's why Dugtrio is so fast. That's why he's in like a completely different speed tier than all the other ground types. Is
Yeah,
because
it's a
he's
little-
wearing the Nike Vaporflies.
It's a little known fact.
Boosted.
It's a little known fact, but actually all of the ground in the Pokemon world is just like one layer thin because of all the Dugtrios that run around underground.
Oh
And
yeah,
you can
and
just like
when the games are 2D,
that's why
so
Groudon's so pissed.
Gens 1 through 5 happen in a completely different world that is basically flat Earth.
Yeah.
But Gen 6 when they go 3D, they're I mean, because I think you can see like from X and Y, like what was it, Yveltal summons like the meteor or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know, I haven't played them, but like they show you like the world, right? So like that one's around.
Propaganda. Okay. Should I wait to share my
No,
share
you
mine?
can share it now.
All right, I put a lot of effort into it. I hope that you enjoy.
Oh my goodness.
That's hot.
Is it a singular toe at the bottom on each foot?
It's a singular toe.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
is a singular toe another Diglett?
I hope so. I'm assuming so.
It's Diglett's
I
all the
didn't
way
have-
down.
yeah,
Like,
I couldn't-
all the way down, all the way.
I didn't have enough time to truly go into the Diglets or like add hair.
Okay,
if they're like
hear me
Alolan,
out.
But
Hear me out. Gens 1 through 5, right? Flat Earth. We've established that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's now canon. But the reason why you don't get to go to other... So, like, Kanto and Johto are on the top, right? With Dugtrio right here.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the bottom, if you will. I think you see where I'm going with this. The reason why you can't go to the other maps in the other generations is because they're on the other side of the world. It's a flat Earth, but there are 2 sides to it. So on the other side of these legs, these little toes here are just more Diglets. So the Diglets at the
so
other
if
side.
you-
So they move in conjunction from landmass to landmass
so
on
if
each
you
side of the world.
if you so if you reach the on your flashlight, is it all just like a nightmare of
Feet. If you use, oh my
and
god,
legs
okay.
like sticking out?
Point of view. You're a Pokemon. You're using Dig. You now have curse knowledge.
Point of view, you're a Pokemon. You're using Dig. It's the Jaws movie.
It's basically Garchomp. Okay, so as you can see, Aneu had a very funny suggestion here of no footprint. Haha.
Officially.
Yeah,
Officially.
known to man, that's for sure. But
Until now.
but now known by you and us, unfortunately.
All 40 people, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna readjust my seat real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm getting a little chilly.
So somebody actually. Oh.
Yeah, no, I know what I'm doing.
So somebody mentioned this on Twitter. There's actually a specific game mode or mini game, if you will, in Pokemon's Mystery Dungeon, where you actually have to match up Pokemon with their footprints. That is a mini game, and there should be a picture or like a short video that's playing on screen simultaneously with this to show you what that looks like. Unless I was lied to, and then you're not going to see anything.
And then you're just gonna keep looking at Dugtrio.
You're going to be just as disappointed as I am right now.
Yep.
At thinking that there is actually no minigame and that I've been duped.
I'll
So,
fucking make it, swear to God.
Chime off. Are you disappointed or?
If I had to take a guess, I'm going to say that I'm not disappointed.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
perpetually disappointed.
Yeah, no matter what, I will always be disappointed.
We're talking about Pokemon feet, so I'm sure everyone is disappointed, especially my
course.
father. Okay, move on to the next one. This one was suggested by Josh on Twitter, and it's Dragapult. So, Gen 8, no footprint. Boo. Boo, hiss, boo. Bad Game Freak. Give me the footprints.
But thankfully, he's doing us a favor here, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that the Dragapult can catch them.
Okay, so first of all, I love this Pokemon, so I'm a little bit biased. I just love the design of this Pokemon. I love the color of this Pokemon as well. I love the different colors. He's a little floaty boy, and his feet stay up in the air, and all I want to do is just grab the little toes. So this one ranks very highly with me.
So my thing is that Dragapult looks like he's into foot shit.
Also thick.
Like look at
He's
that
begging for it.
smirk.
Yeah, he's
Look at
begging
that
for it.
smirk.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like he's trying to get some.
And they're pointing it at us. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
Dragapult,
like-
shoot me with your little
and, like-
dragon boys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like hips so wide, feet can't even touch the ground. Like, come on.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that. What are we rating Dragapult's feet out of 10?
Oh, a solid 9.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I'd give it an 8.
Wow.
Because
All
it's
right,
Gen 8,
critical.
and we don't have footprints. I don't know what would the footprint look like?
I see all I need to see. That's the point. As
Wow.
and it doesn't need a footprint. There's no grandeur.
For someone that gave Dusclops like a 4,
You know what
it
sounds
seemed pretty easy to please.
Look. Dusclops,
It's
I
the
can't.
willingness.
Dusclops sound like the sound of that foot hitting the ground. It just sounds like disappointment to me. This is like a nice little like against
His-
the
his
ground,
duck
and I'm
feet?
happy. Yeah, it makes me happy.
Okay, I see it, and I can see why it was suggested. I didn't know we had one of the founders of the Dragapult Foot fan club here.
I'm just a Dragapult fan, but I will gladly claim that title.
Well, I'm sure you're not the first person to
Start the
think
Twitter
about his feet
account.
that way. Yeah,
I
start the
will
Twitter
start
account,
the
oh my
Twitter
God.
account.
I'm sure that if we make a Twitter account or an Instagram account to follow up with the photos for these, that you can listen to this on whatever platform you're listening to it on and view these photos. It's gonna definitely be named Dragapult fan club, Dragapult Foot fan club for a little while.
Look, it's probably an available name. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So we're going to the next one. This is Scorbunny. This was suggested by Rita. Again, this is a Gen 8 Pokemon. I don't like whatever kind of like Band-Aid thing it's got going on at the bottom of the foot. The last thing I would want from this Pokemon is a Band-Aid stuck in a place where I don't want a Band-Aid.
I'm gonna say.
Unsanitary.
I'm gonna say that's a carbon fiber plate, and Nike is coming for your ass.
Yeah, Scorbunny, you're gonna get C&D'd by Nike for this.
Yeah, no, that is 100% a carbon fiber plate. And that's where the pep in the step comes from. That 4%, Scorbunny's got that 4%, and I don't know. It's there's a solid ankle, there's a solid heel. It's got the 3 toes. By all means, it's a foot. But,
Okay, what would you rate it then?
It's really just not. It's not. It just doesn't stand out to me.
Give me a number.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 4 because of the 4% joke that you made about
Okay.
the Nike shoes that are literally called the Nike 4%.
You're just writing my curtails on this one, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I just can't get over the fact that Scorbunny is just the fucking Tricks bunny. Like it's just the Tricks rabbit, but from like the early years. That being said, General Mills makes all of its cereals. It enriches all of them with ground up animal bones. So that's not chill. So I'm definitely giving a Scorbunny a 4 at best.
Oh wow,
This one's for the animals. I think if you like Scorbunny, you don't actually like animals.
Yeah,
I'm still here for a hot 5er.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
5er. That's respectable. Okay, move on to the next one. So this was also from Rita. We just have the Eeveelutions, and instead of going through all of their footprints, because Sylveon does not have a footprint, because again, Gen 6, we're just going to rank all of the Eeveelutions on where we think they are.
Sylveon says trans rights, so I'm in favor of Sylveon personally, but
So you think Sylveon's best?
yes,
I think Sylveon is the best mostly because of its typing. That's just like
Sylveon's out there.
fucking wild good, and its shiny is really good because it's just the inverse colors. It still says trans rights.
yeah. It trans rights still says trans rights even while shiny, and just to also I'm pretty sure it's got kind of a fucked up Pokedex entry. So I'm really down with like Pokemon subverting traditionally cute things with like I'm gonna strangle you with my weird hair ribbons. like I'm very
You
there.
mean like Alolan Dugtrio.
It's tipping a little bit into like the lowly side, but I'm here for it. It in terms of Sylveon's standpoint with trans rights and the Pokemon community, I am a Sylveon supporter.
Wow, my third eye has been blown wide open, and I am now a Sylveon stan.
There you go.
Sylveon's at the top, and then I think Umbreon and Espeon are probably right there with it, if not next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say I don't know. I really don't like the Gen 4 evolutions. Glaceon and Leafeon are like okay.
I like Glaceon
Really, I would
aesthetically.
say I like both Glaceon and Leafeon aesthetically. I think just because I'm a fan of just like leaves, and something about Glaceon's bangs really bother me.
I love bangs.
Glaceon's going through a phase 1, and 2, mono grass types are bad.
I've been through that phase,
So is
and
Mono Ice.
yeah.
Yeah, Ice is
Ice is
actually
terrible type.
terrible typing.
Look, I've been through that phase, and it didn't look good on me, so it's not allowed to look good on her. That's the bitterness. So I'm gonna say that with Sylveon at the top, I'm gonna say that it is after following Umbreon and Espeon, I would say it's probably a tie aesthetically for me between Leafeon and Jolteon, followed by Glaceon and Vaporeon with Flareon.
Okay, I think we can definitely, and we'll leave it at this, is that Flareon is definitely the worst.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Flareon's definitely
I
definitely
don't.
bottom
God
tier.
bless anyone out there whose favorite evolution is Flareon.
Sorry.
Flareon is just so bad. Stats wise, it's terrible. Move pool wise, it's even worse. I think the only like decent move that it gets Gen 1 is Smoke Screen.
Excuse me, it can wear grass knot. Thank you.
Not in Gen 1.
Look.
Yeah, no, what a garbage Pokemon.
The-
I think
yeah.
it can also learn Dig.
Yes, it can.
And it probably saw Dugtrio and decided, yeah, I don't want to be in Dugtrio's tier.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to use Dig and see that again. That's why it placed
it's
itself
scarred.
in untiered.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that Flareon is a good idea, but ends up falling short of everything that it tries to be, right? So it's a worse Arcanine on every level.
Oh yeah.
It's really just like it's the layman's Arcanine, and I don't like it because Arcanine's one of my favorite Pokemon. It doesn't quite have the brute of Arcanine. It doesn't quite have the style of Ninetales, and it just isn't. It's not there. It's just not there.
That reminds me, so we'll talk about this now because I don't actually have this one in the PowerPoint. Tekh, who has been on this podcast for the first episode, if anybody remembers that shit show, Tekh recommended, by the way, that's not a diss against either Tekh or Siegel. I'd like to have them both here if they'd actually fucking record one with me. We live in the same town now. I wish they would just fucking come over so we could record this.
Time's ticking. We're moving
Time's
soon.
ticking, yeah. So anyways, Charlie mentioned Arcanine, or mainly Growlithe, and specifically Growlithe's quote-unquote toe beans. How do we feel about Growlithe's footprints?
I love Growlithe, and that's the thing, right? Is that for the most part, toe beans, at least in my experience, toe beans were initially a designation, a blessing, if you will, given to cats. For the most part, toe beans begin with cats. And I'm not quite sure what Eevee is based on. Is it a cat? Is he? What's Eevee based on? Have we decided? because I've always viewed it as like a bunny dog hybrid, but
I've always viewed it kind of like as a fox, given with like its tail.
You're
And how,
right.
like, every
Yeah.
evolution
Yeah.
focuses a lot on its tail.
You're right. So maybe fox then. Either way, except Sylveon doesn't focus on its tail. Whoop.
That's true.
But anyway, and Jolteon has no tail. That aside,
Jolteon's ashamed of its tail. That's why it covers it.
no, Jolteon's great. Jolteon's like the best design out of the first gen.
Jolteon is a grower, not a shower, and I just wish that you would acknowledge that.
I do acknowledge it and I respect it.
Well, then you should agree that Jolteon probably goes barely above Flareon on the tier list.
False. Jolteon's better than Vaporeon in my opinion, design wise.
No, I like Vaporeon so much more.
No, look,
Vaporeon's
I like
sick.
Vaporeon's a great design. I just think that I think it's very unique. I think it's very iconic. But I just think that people really sleep on Jolteon's design. I don't know.
I definitely agree. I think it's very spry.
It looks like
I do like Vaporeon's a lot better.
it looks like Eevee got struck by lightning, and that's that's essentially what Jolteon is. Like I don't know. It looks 100% like you just touched Eevee's nose with that electric stone and the thunderstone, and and that's what happened. It just blew up. And I'm a fan of Pokemon that blow up.
Wow. Okay, that's. How do you feel? Do you like Electrode then?
No, absolutely not.
Super fast electric Pokemon that literally blows up?
No.
Sounds exactly what you were describing with Jolteon.
No, here's the thing. Style.
Okay.
Also, no feet.
Electrode is in fact a big orb that does not have feet.
No feet. Can't like it. Can't
That's
enjoy
right.
it.
That's right. Okay. So back to Growlithe. What are we gonna give Growlithe as a rating?
I'm biased. I give Growlithe like a 7 out of 10.
I feel the fact that Tekh had used toe beans to describe Growlithe's feet just made me like not want to give a good rating to Growlithe. Nothing against Tekh, just because of that phrasing. It made me very uncomfortable.
I get you're right, and it is hypocritical.
Also,
It's
because it is a dog.
It is a dog, and it's
not a
hypocritical.
cat.
You're right.
And I don't really. I'm not the biggest fan of cats. Not in like a mean way. I'm just allergic to cats.
That's fine.
And they're kind of assholes.
That's valid.
That's a general statement, obviously, but like.
You need angry people.
I know I'm gonna get some really mad responses about like how dare you be allergic to cats? Fuck you.
Average Pokemon, average rating. I give Growlithe a 5.
Yeah, that's what I would have to give it to. I think comparing it to a cat in my eyes just brings it down for me.
My issue with like hitting the Eeveelutions, and maybe it's like and Growlithe, and I think that it's maybe just a stigma and the fact that Lucario's just been like known as furry bait. That we went real hard on Lucario because the feet were paws. And we decided that the feet were paws. And no matter how you crack it, you look at any Eeveelution and you look at Growlithe and those are paws. So they're not
Here's
feet.
the thing. Lucario is still in the human egg group, if I recall correctly.
It is.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So,
but we didn't establish that we were separating it by that.
No, so like, I mean, these are clearly trying to, like, Growlithe is clearly a dog. It is the fire dog Pokemon. Eevee is like clearly some sort of dog fox thing.
And
Lucario is
Espeon's-
clearly furry bait.
And I just and also like look at Espeon like thick, looking over the shoulder. We get it, okay? It's fine. like that's I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky in the sense that as like paws, I give Growlithe like a 7 out of 10. But again, I'm biased towards Growlithe. I love Growlithe. Most of the Eeveelutions, Sylveon, I'd say definitely falls in like the 7 or 8 category out of 10, paw wise. But we're also just rating the Eeveelutions as our like.
Yeah.
There's nothing outstanding about the Eevees.
Yeah.
Yes, especially feet wise.
Feet wise, that's that.
Feet wise, there's nothing outstanding about the Eevees.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one. So we have Machamp. I love this suggestion. Thank you so much, Austin. God damn, I've been wanting to talk about Machamp. Okay, so I have the same feeling it's the thing with Dusclops, right? It's all about the hands in this one.
Straight up.
Right? But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate his feet. Also, I love that the Pokedex entry from Machamp talks about how if he takes off his belt, it unleashes his power. So it's not like a weightlifting belt, right, that he just like has. It's something to literally hold him back.
It's holding up that.
Hey, folks.
It's holding up all that raw foot energy.
Folks, Anne wants to fuck Machamp.
Machamp is one of my favorite Pokemon.
Always.
Not my favorite, but one of my favorite.
I'm just saying, like, is that adductor? Is that the muscle that's there? The
adductor?
Yeah, adductor.
Yeah, that's what's on the inside.
Carve.
Right.
This Pokemon is.
No, those are the abductors.
Either way,
Adductors are on the outside. Abductors are on the inside.
Look, I'm just telling you.
looking good.
Machamp is the Pokemon that she tells you not to worry about. And as outdated as that meme is, that foot is certainly just it.
And
That's
That's
what
just it.
that's what my foot looks like.
and also
Huh.
like tossing back to the whole Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Recording a podcast at 1 a.m. was a bad idea.
But and I'm also seeing that little gap in there, and
Yeah.
that's making me think again back to Mewtwo, where it's just like, we got some good action, kung fu grip, if you will.
The whooshy finger hold.
I think the tilt in the arch is what, like with the heel, like the fact that you can clearly, like you would be able to really tell like right foot from left foot, like you would confuse this Pokemon's feet for human feet if both were side by side on a beach. That's my point.
No.
Hot dogs are legs, except it's Machamp feet or human feet.
Look, all I'm saying is that like, people snuggle up to their Pokemon sometime, and Aeon would happily snuggle up to their Machamp.
Happily. What are we giving Machamp?
Oh, 10 out of 10.
I don't think it's as good as Magnemite. I'm comparing it to other things.
Okay, you're right. Oh,
Magnemite
9, a
just has-
strong 9 out of 10.
I'd say a strong 9.
This is definitely 9.
Yeah,
100%.
big niner. We have Granbull, which is also awesome. I think this one's funny because it doesn't look like that's what his footprint would be.
Yeah, you would think it'd be like longer, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. You think it'd be definitely more of like less of a paw, more of like an actual foot, given that.
Well, no, because perhaps they're just always, like, Granbull, although they don't need to be, are always on their toes. See how there's like a bit of an elevation? You're seeing
it's just
that
his
tilt.
toe. He doesn't have a heel.
You're
Okay.
seeing
Like
that tilt as a heel. I'm seeing it as a backwards knee.
Okay.
So I'm seeing it as something that is elevated off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking just constantly on the toes.
This is too ambiguous. I'm giving it a 4.
Oh, I think 3.
I also think 3.
Okay. I'm glad we're in, unison with that one.
Yeah, no.
Move on to the next one. We have I told you I was gonna call you horny motherfuckers out. Why did you suggest Gardevoir? I knew this was coming. I knew Lucario and Gardevoir would be the two that people were like, huh, what about these Pokemon?
If you
No,
wanted-
it's bait.
You don't even see the feet.
It's bait.
You don't even see it.
It's bait. You don't see the feet. You had to wait until the 3D generations to see the feet, and then she kind of like swirled with her little dress and like nonsense, whatever. Okay, I get it. You're all horny. It's fine. This Pokemon never understood it.
Now Curlia. Goddamn.
Curlia has like pegs. for
Curlia,
feet.
yes, but she has moves.
She has
Also,
moves.
she has moves. Her moves are not weak. Gardevoir's moves, weak. Here's the thing. I do not get, I've never, and look, I'm vegan. Like, if you came at me from like a plant standpoint, I get it. I don't understand the appeal of Gardevoir. No thighs, nothing. There's nothing here. No feet.
I think everything aesthetically good about Gardevoir is better encapsulated and also human in Rosalina.
Yes. Also, like if I got bangs, that's my hair. Like if I had bangs and I put them down my nose, that's my hairstyle. So like I'm not cool with it.
I have a feeling. Okay, look, you can like Gardevoir. I like Glade better, but like you can like Gardevoir.
I like Gardevoir.
You can not like her feet. You're not allowed to like her feet. You can like Gardevoir. You're not allowed to like her feet. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10.
No, I
this
love
is garbage.
I
giving it a
love
1.
yeah. Don't like let my
I'm saving one for a special one. I don't know which one yet, but like there's
Don't-
definitely one Pokemon I would say that's the worst one.
don't let my damning of the Gardevoir sexualization like steer you wrong. I do love Gardevoir. Between Gardevoir and Glade, I like Gardevoir more. I've just never I've never gotten why she was bait. I never like looking. There's
It's just humanoid, you know.
But then you
This
got
is
you
entry
got
level furry.
you got trainer sprites. You got gym leaders. Come on, like that's my point. It's just too close. It's like almond milk. It's too close to milk.
Stop. We're not talking about almond milk. We're saving that for the vegetable episode.
There you go. The vegetable
Yeah,
episode.
Christ.
Wait, it's coming at you.
What do we got next?
Blindside you.
Okay,
yes.
so yeah, Tekh suggested this one as well. Nosepass. I think
Winner.
this is beautiful.
This
It's
is-
just a donut.
it's
That's
just a
his.
donut.
That's his footprint. It's so good.
I love everything about Nosepass. I love the way that they walk. I love the aesthetic that they pull off. I have their nose. And no, this is just great. I love everything about it. I can hear the sound of the steps that they take, and therefore, good foot.
Just so good.
Just a good
Classic.
foot.
I'm a big fan of Nosepass and Probopass. It's where all the power goes straight to his mustache. I love it.
Do you think they get golf balls stuck in their feet?
Do you think if they get a golf ball stuck in there, they can never get it out?
What about the ear? Like the ear holes?
What if I think it might be similar to like the trackball mouse or whatever. My man's
They just get
Heelys for the
Heelys.
They
rest
just
of his life.
skate. Oh my god, yeah.
I love it.
They
Speed
just
goes up
Um,
by like 50 points.
Do you
They
think?
just go into the next speed tier.
You know what I
Nosepass
want?
is now like the fastest revenge killer
You
in
know-
the game.
I've just decided that I think that the most wholesome thing that I could put out into the world right now is like a little comic of a Nosepass going on a journey, right? Going on a little journey and then arriving at like the Easter Island heads and getting very excited and like hugging an Easter Island head.
It's dead.
That's
You would.
Yeah.
This is an important Pokemon fact, and they even replicated this in Pokemon Go, which is crazy. So Nosepasses, because they're supposed to be like compasses, right? Like is that the nose they're always facing north.
Yeah.
They can never face not north.
that's
Yeah.
kind of sad.
So when you look at because they're supposed to be like magnetically
Yeah.
drawn, right? So like they're always pointing north. That's why, because like if you look at a compass, the top that points north is always red.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, so
that's-
like in Pokemon Go, when it spawns on
When
the
it
map,
spawns, it's always facing north,
that's so cool.
which is I think it's
I
really
wouldn't
cool.
have
That's-
thought of that.
It sees where your orientation is, and then it always
That's
points north.
really cool, and I didn't know that. But also, that's kind of sad in terms of like Nosepasses, because then they can only ever walk north.
Yeah.
I think that if
they
you
have to
no,
be, like,
no, no,
picked
no,
up.
they have to side shuffle, but still facing
Okay,
north. So if you're
okay.
gonna make that comic, because Easter Island wouldn't be, directly north of wherever this Nosepass is,
Yeah.
right?
It
You'd
just
have to have it
shuffles-
waddling
Shuffles
sideways.
out of the water and then crab walks backwards to be able to see the Easter Island head and gets excited.
And
That's-
the way that its idle animation is, where it leans from one foot onto the other. Like
Yep.
I'll probably put a video up.
Oh, yeah.
With something on
It's
it.
so cute.
Teeters.
That's because the compass is always
That's
like not exactly
I-
north because
I love this Pokemon so much. This Pokemon has such a strong place in my heart.
Nosepass is such a good Pokemon.
Donut Foot, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Donut Foot is definitely an 8.5 out of 10 for me. It's a really
It's a
good
strong
one.
8.
Yeah, Nosepass could bend me over a barrel any day.
Whoa.
So we have Ice Cube.
This is just a penguin.
This is just Luigi Toilet suggested this. It's basically just a duck foot. I put the weight on here because even though I couldn't find a footprint, what the fuck? Why does this penguin weigh 200 pounds?
Why does it
Is
look
the ice that heavy?
Yes.
How do birds have hollow bones?
Water is
they're
dense.
they're terrible at
water
with
is
compression.
dense. Water is
But
dense.
that's terrible.
And it gets denser when it's frozen.
The penguin has the strongest skeleton known
Actually,
to
it does the
birds.
opposite. I didn't know that Game Freak claimed all of Neopet sprites when they went down, because that looks 100% like a Neopet.
That is a Neopet.
That's a Neopet.
Wait, wasn't Neopet like bought out by like a Scientology branch, and then it was like run into the ground?
Scientology or Game Freak?
Game Freak bought out Neopets.
Game Freak.
That's
bought
the
out
big
Neopets.
conspiracy
Prove me
theory.
wrong. You don't know.
So they can get rid of footprints. Yeah, I think with the duck, basically just having like duck feet because it is bird.
1 out of 10. If I wanted a duck foot, I'd find a real duck.
Yeah.
I'd fuck Delibird.
Yeah. There are
Delibird has my
there
heart.
are other duck feet to go for.
No,
You know.
note, considering that my favorite Pokemon are like Hypno and Leedian and stuff like that,
Look,
and now I'm
it
talking
is-
about Delibird, I just really like Pokemon that are fucking terrible. I like Pokemon that have absolutely no use.
You're right, and also I don't know.
Also,
This
thing's
Pokemon is
ability.
cute. I feel like
Yeah, no ice and no ice mode.
this Pokemon's gonna like hit me with its blockhead and then take my money. I don't know.
Yeah, that's effectively what it does
The
every
eyes-
time you run into one.
the
physically.
I want it.
The eyes are
basi-
soulless. I don't like it.
I want it so that like if it were to fall over, it makes like the thwomp sound.
I love it. All right.
Alright.
We have Totodile. This was suggested by Tunafish. I like Totodile. I think Totodile is a 6 starter. And I think
Kind of
it's,
looks like a booger.
yeah, I think again its foot doesn't really look like you would expect it to with its footprint.
You're right, and I think that even with like in this case with the step that it's taking, like even that incline of the idea of like, oh well, it's just on its toes doesn't apply. I don't know.
It doesn't do much for me. I think it's, that being said, I think it's better than some of the others. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
Three.
But like it's
Yeah,
a really weak
I'm-
5.
I'm thinking like week 4.
I'm just thinking about what I've given 4s to other Pokemon so far, and I don't really.
I have no recollection of anything else that I've rated, so I'm gonna say 4.
Neither do I. Someone post in the comments our ratings.
Oh man, I could probably. I don't want to do that. I just thought about that. I don't want to do that.
This is the episode of hypocrisy. I don't. You can come at me and I'll find a way to defend it. But for now, we're just gonna. I'm
Where's
just
the next one?
rooting
Okay.
and scooting.
This is suggested by Josh. Another one. This is Xatu. I think Xatu's is a good one.
It's a good one.
I like it. I think the foot is kind of really funny. And I think the footprint is just as funny.
It's the footprint kind of reminds me of like a fucked up totem pole, and that's exactly what Xatu kind of is. Looks like a fucked up totem pole.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Xatu.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Xatu. I don't know. I'm fine with it. It's not a foot that is sexy to me, but I can appreciate it.
Okay, so what are you giving it?
I can appreciate it, so I'm gonna say a 5 out of 10.
I'll give this one
It's
a
like
5.
a strong 5.
I'll give this one a 5.
This is 6. I'm a fan.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. We got the next one. Okay.
Okay.
Hoot Noctowl. We're talking about this one in particular. I put both of these up here because Nathan had pointed out that upon evolution, Hoot just loses a fucking toe. It's gone. It just migrates to the back.
Yeah.
What?
So we double checked this with a couple of sources earlier because I before we even like started this podcast, we obviously wanted to kind of get like a feel, a foot feel for what we're going for, and I did not know this, but Hoot actually has 2 feet.
Straight up.
That is a canon thing. Hoot actually has 2 feet, and when we looked at Hoot's model in Pokemon Go, where you can turn the model around, it actually does already have a back toe. So it has 4 front toes and 1 back toe already.
Is it that little
Which
tiny
is
pixel
that's
that's
that,
turning
that
up?
little tiny
Oh, okay,
pixel.
okay,
Because it's a
okay.
little bit higher up on the foot, and so the nail just kind of comes down.
And we
Gotcha.
double checked this with a couple of the playing cards as well from
Yes.
from
Okay.
the card game.
They have
They have
they
got
have
the back
the
toes.
back
So
toe.
so it just loses one of the front toes.
Yeah,
it just
loses
loses
a
one of
toe.
the front toes.
Just
Wow.
loses a toe.
That's wild. So yeah, Hoot also does have two legs according
Shout outs
to
to Pokemon Coliseum.
yeah, Pokemon Coliseum and XC have it. Hoot bounces from leg to leg. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, if it weren't for the both of you somehow vividly remembering that, I
I-
would have never known to look
I
at it.
played
I
those
would have never
games
thought about
to
it.
a pulp.
I remember
so-
every minute detail of Pokemon Coliseum.
That is
Yeah.
wild. I mean,
I played
granted,
XD more, just because I felt like it was more polished and like the shadow purification system was a lot better. But yeah,
I just thought Wes was such a badass.
Wes is a really cool character.
but
Way better than what's the one from XD? Is it Alex?
Sure. I don't even remember.
I'm gonna have to double check that one. If I'm right about that, I am gonna go see a therapist
still
about
never-
how I can remove some of these thoughts from my brain. Why do I remember that?
yeah, I can't.
I hope I'm wrong.
I
Why am I
cannot.
spending my brain cells on Pokemon feet?
I cannot memorize a single formula, but I know the exact amount of toes that this Pokemon has.
So what are we giving Hoot Noctowl? Let's make it one score.
I think it's really interesting. I think that the although the feet lack like a sex appeal because they are just talons, like they really are just like bird talons. I think that Noctowl has the epitome of bedroom eyes. A very strong brow on both of them,
It's called Mean Look.
and super effective.
Oh shit.
and I don't know, the absorption of the toe is really a wild concept that I'd like to know more about. So
Where does it go?
I'm gonna give it like a strong 6 or 7.
I'm gonna say it's a
Strong
6.
six, mid 7?
I like Hoot's foot a lot more, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay,
7.
I'm thinking. Okay,
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
all right.
I can't believe I'm the one low balling these Pokemon now.
Look,
Last couple I've always given it 1 or 2 lower now. Okay. Seedot and Shiftry are some really funny ones to talk about.
Very funny.
Nathan, you pointed out something really interesting with Seedot's footprint.
Yeah, it's just an acorn, like itself.
It's fucking good.
It's cute.
It's so amazing.
I love that.
And Shiftry's is just a peg, which is hilarious because it just looks like it's wearing those like traditional sandals.
I mean,
Seedot. Oh, Seedot's like a 10. So
C-Dot I love, and it's a strong 9 or 10. It's up there with like Magnemites. It's not quite to Magnemite, so I think I'm going to give it a 9. I love the fact that it's an acorn, but Magnemites just cracks me up all the time. Shiftry is, I think, really the only thing that's holding it back is like the lack of toes, because the knees are there, the thighs are there. It's got the ankle. It's got the heel.
Yeah, the toes are big.
The fact that it would probably be like a solid 7 or 8 if it had toes, but the fact that there's a lack of toes, I don't. And also, Shiftry kind of looks like that ice wizard from, I think, Adventure Time.
Oh my god. He does. Jesus.
Forsaken knowledge.
Forsaken knowledge. I'm just throwing a lot of information at you right now.
He also kind of just looks like another big chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Like an amalgamation of chicken nuggets.
Why did they make them glossy? I didn't need like.
You know, if you look at Shiftry, like right here, that's just like a man with a mustache, right?
Yeah. That's just an
It
old
really
naked dude with
is.
a mustache if you cut it off right there at the nose.
Yeah. It really is just a man with a mustache.
So, I would give Shiftry a 7 just because I like the idea of the whole, like, it's wearing, like, the sandals with one peg. I love C-Dots. I'm definitely giving that one a 10. The fact that it's an acorn is so fucking good.
It's
I love
great.
it.
It doesn't quite get me as much as Magnemite, so that's why I'm giving it a 9.
I think it's just as... I don't think it's as good as Magnemite's, but, like, I already gave Magnemite a 10, and I don't think this is any worse than that.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Alright.
I don't think it's worse. I just, yeah.
To each their own, and are C-Dots just organic Magnemites?
Perhaps.
No, because it doesn't evolve into 3 C-Dots.
That is true.
All glued together by tree paste.
I don't know.
It just grows up.
Yeah.
Shiftry has that really long bit of hair, so who knows what's hiding underneath that? It could be 3 C-Dots.
Could be more C-Dots. Yeah.
Could be more C-Dots. You don't know.
We'll move on to the next one. We have Blaziken. I love this one
I just think it's fun.
because you can see, like you can see like the talons that are coming out of the bottom of his foot, and like that's on the footprint, and then you see like the rest of his fucking like hair or fur or whatever you want to call it. I think that's really funny. This picture of Blaziken also reminds me of the post from when Pokken first came out.
Yeah.
And there was that mother that was like, we had to return this game. Why did they give the chicken a penis? So good.
Oh, the classic. Fun fact, so Combuskin to Blaziken is another one of those ones where it just kind of loses a toe.
I
Yeah.
didn't put that on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loses a toe. But in a much stronger way than Hitmonlee, this Pokemon could kick my ass. In a much
It would kill you.
this Pokemon could kill me and look great doing it, and that is why
I've always liked Blaziken.
I've always liked Blaziken.
I think the Gen 3 starters are so strong.
The strongest.
And
it
Blaziken,
did,
I can't pick a favorite. They're so good. It's definitely between Blaziken and Swampert. But
yeah, replaying Gen 3, it's actually very hard to pick a starter because I'm like, wow, they're all good.
So
I love working with all of them. Like, wow.
Yeah.
But in this case, I would say, again, there's no ankles. I see the knees, but it really is just big puffy pants and nothing else. There's no real toes or feet to appreciate. And to be honest, you know that if we didn't actually have that footprint, if we didn't have a documented footprint, it wouldn't be they wouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why,
on.
Unfortunately, although I love Blaziken, I really have to give this one a 4 or
I think
3 or 4.
Blaziken can be sexualized in other ways in that it's not about the foot,
It's a
right?
chicken
But
with a penis.
imagine you have chicken with a penis and you just go Gah!
Jesus.
And that's the sound of it. It's
Oh,
like bird
big
sounds.
Yeah.
You don't want that. I'm gonna give this one a 5 just because I like the added detail of the hair from his pants also being part of his footprint.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 5 as well.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. We got Slowking. Okay, this one nothing exciting. It's just sexy Slowking on the screen. When we were talking about this. I wasn't part of the conversation for implementing Slowking, right? I came back to my computer and I saw pictures of Slowking all over it, and I went, "Why'd you guys look up Slowking? That Pokemon's footprint is just it was a normal thing, right?" And then Nathan just goes, "Pokemon's damn sexy. Look at him." I'm like, "You're right. There's a reason they call him King."
Dressed up.
Dressed to the nines.
To the nines, right? To the nines. Over the shoulder.
What he's got.
Over the shoulder. Thick as hell. Some nice thighs. This Pokemon's just great. This Pokemon
he's got
is...
that oatmeal.
Oh, 100%. This Pokemon can get it, knows that it can get it, and has gotten it. That's the point.
1 out of 10.
Feet, 1 out of 10.
Slowking, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to agree for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We have the Trico line. This is another one that loses a foot and then gets it, loses a toe and then gets it back.
Fascinating.
Absolutely wild.
I love this line. I think it is the perfect evolution of just like, first of all, because they're based off of like lizards, so like lizards often lose tails.
Well, Trico is a gecko.
Or a gecko, same thing. They
Yeah.
like in the sense that they both have the they can lose parts of their bodies and then regrow them.
I didn't think about that layer to it.
So that's what I'm thinking is that maybe the loss of the toe and then the regaining of the toe is just like a part of the process of growing up. But also they also lose fingers because Trico has 3 fingers and
Gardevoir
only has 2.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking it's just part of the process. Speed and agility being added and all that. But I love this evolution line. It's so good. It's so strong. The feet are very strong.
I think Trico is the perfect Pokemon foot.
That's what I was gonna say. That Trico's foot is very good.
Trico's foot.
Those toes.
Trico's really just the perfect Pokemon foot. Sceptile can get it. Is it Sceptile or Sceptile? Did we say it on that?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. One of them. Sceptile/Sceptile can absolutely get it.
I agree. So I'd probably give Trico's feet like a...
Trico's a 10 for me.
Yeah, I was going to say a 9 or a 10.
Trico's
really
a 9
good.
or a 10. I would say Sceptile/Sceptile is... Unfortunately, I feel like it just loses some of that. Like, loses some of its touch.
Pizzazz.
Yeah.
The other two are just...
The knees are nice. Like, the knees and the thighs are nice, but it just doesn't... Yeah, you're right. So I'm going to say probably like a 6 or a 7.
Okay. And I think this is the last one on the list. We have Skitty and Delcatty. This one gains a toe, and the other ones move over. Also...
They don't have feet.
Yeah.
What is his footprint?
They're just nubs.
They're just nubs.
What are you telling me? They have these, like, full-blown paws, and Delcatty's heel kind of looks like a penis.
Delcatty
Whack.
barely has knees.
Oh, god damn, that is
It looks like a penis. It's literally an ejaculating penis. I don't know what you want.
Oh, god.
It's just a-
Forsaken knowledge.
I feel like if Gardevoir didn't exist, this would be the one that got big. This would be the one that got blown up for...
Skitty's looks like a hookah, and Delcatty's looks like an ejaculating penis, and that's really all I have to say about it.
What? Okay, hear me
It's
out.
whack.
Hear me out. Skitty's footprint is actually just its tail.
Oh my god, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
And Delcatty's, get this, is just a picture from below Delcatty's foot. So you're looking at the 4 things around its neck.
I thought you were just gonna be like it's a picture from below Delcatty. All Delcatties
But that's
have
not a foot.
a penis. It's not. Look, I can see Skitties. I get it. What angers me the most is that they truly both just have nubs. There was not an effort made at all. Obviously, there was like a miscommunication on who drew the footprint and who drew the Pokemon.
And the thing is like they had a palm, and that one's got like a hand for a tail.
Yeah.
And that one has a normal footprint. It's just like a weird little dot like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think that if it was truly like they walk on their tail or like whatever, it just would have. Yeah, it would have been. And in that case, that would mean that Delcatty like walks by slapping its head on the ground.
Not a fan.
Yeah, really, like it sucks because it seems like someone really put thought and or possibly their penis into the design of these feet. But it was lost in translation, and I mean like really 0 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
I'll give it a 3. I like the design's way out there, and way more
cool.
like. I feel like if they went on different Pokemon, that'd be a lot cooler.
That's what I'm saying. But the problem is that they're not like that's not that Pokemon's foot.
You're right.
That's not that Pokemon's foot.
It really isn't. That disqualified. So that actually marks the end of this episode. That is it. We've been recording for a very long time now. It is pretty late.
You wanted us looking at Pokemon feet at 1 a.m, and you got it.
Yeah, and you got some. I would say arguably the best drawings this podcast has ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we've had some real shit ones, but these are next level for sure.
I love it.
So I'm definitely have to take a picture of these and I'll upload this. I don't know when this is going up. If it's near the end of your 2 weeks of quarantine, I'm sure you're really looking at these Pokemon in a way that you wouldn't if you interacted with other humans.
We're at like day 6.
We're at day 6.
We're already running low on material in the Spank Bank, and I hope that this has given you something.
I hope that this just got your mind off things and onto Pokemon feet, because it really should be the thing that is your top priority right now. It has been my top priority the past 22 years. So
I hope that this, like, either we just become, like, the, like, undisputed Pokemon feet masters.
I will fight people on this.
Or, like, I'll just look at something in the comment that's, like, a fucking dissertation about how we're fucking idiots and how, like...
I want to piss off a niche subreddit.
Yeah. That's actually the goal of this podcast. It was unspoken before, but we really just want to piss off a niche.
We're actually trying to piss off one person in particular who listens to the podcast, and you know who you are.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
We're coming at you. Either way,
Jesus Christ.
if you find the dissertation on Pokemon feet, I will write what is definitely professionally known as a counter dissertation, and
you'll get served.
and you will get served to the highest academic degree. So I will.
Yeah, we'll see you in court, dumbass.
Much like I want to C and D these. I think you have to censor that footprint at this point. Either way, much like I want to C and D these feet.
Shit's getting demonetized.
This shit's
every single one has been demonetized. That's not even a joke. Every single one of these has been flagged.
I don't. Yeah. I don't think we've ever qualified to make money off of anything.
You're telling me that your beautiful image of Amy Klobuchar is
Yes. See, the only reason it's actually on here is because he's one of the only close friends that I have that actually listens to this goddamn podcast. He's the only one.
Look, that's your qualifying factor. You just gotta be nearby and be able to reference other podcast episodes, and you're in.
You know, Nathan could have only watched 10 minutes, and now I believe him, right? I believe that he's seen all of them.
Have a topic that you're passionate about, and come shitpost with us. So thank you.
Yeah. Is there
do your homework.
Is there anything that you'd like to shout out while you're here for the 39 other people that are gonna watch this?
I don't really have much going on in my life at the moment. I was not expecting my sabbatical to take this turn, but I'm happy to be here.
Good.
Okay, cool.
We're happy to have you.
Shout outs to y'all for having me on, honestly.
Yeah. Shout outs to me. You can find me on Twitter at OctavianX. And you can find our new Instagram page, Dragapult Foot Fan Club.
If you think I'm not making that, I'm gonna grab them as soon as we're done recording.
It's gonna be up before this episode.
As soon as we're done recording this, I'm actually just going to go exclusively find like lewd Pokemon pics and just post them on there. I think.
Oh
no, don't no.
That's not the point.
Fine, I'm not gonna promise it. I will just post pictures.
Cut the tape.
Yeah, we're
cut the tape.
We're definitely gonna cut it here, but before we go, as always, we end it with a tweet that one of us stole offline and appropriated for means of ending the stream, or ending this podcast, because we have no idea how to end these things ever. So, Nathan, you actually had one that you were going to read.
So, yes, this tweet comes from a scream name Dua Peep, tag at VapidHag, and the tweet reads, "A therapist is just a mechanic for when your check vibe light comes on." Thank you and have a lovely evening.
Yeah, thank you for watching the podcast. We'll see you in the next one. I can't believe we were coerced into doing this episode.
There was no coercion.
God is dead, and we've killed him, and we've replaced him with Pokemon Feet. Pokemon Feet is our new god. All hail Dugtrio.